So
very curious about those
so
numbers.
it's perfect timing. And so today he was able to get me in at 9:15. I said, great, I'm in that neck of the woods. I'll do
Perfect.
it. Okay.
So you've been practicing for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And you found, I just want to recap what you just said, that you've observed. You weren't perfect with the hunger scale, but there were moments that you said, I'm pushing this hunger thing aside and I'm going to go ahead and eat this because I want it. And you were observing all of those reasonings and justifications, how quickly you pushed it to the side.
Yep.
What did that make you aware of?
Well, okay, so I don't think that during the whole time there was not one time that I didn't put a bite of food in my mouth where I didn't think about it, where I didn't check in with myself and say, where are you at? Are you hungry? And, I looked at your scale, 3.5 to 5, 6, 7. I mean, I have 9s and 10s on my paper.
How'd that feel?
What felt good about it is that I was aware of it. That I was aware, I either was aware that, yes, I'm hungry, so I'm going to eat. And I had to figure that out, too. I had to figure out, I couldn't tell when I was hungry, and I finally determined there were certain things about myself. I got very lethargic. I got very fatigued. I became non-productive.
Yes, like the battery goes.
Yep.
Sometimes it doesn't come in, oh, I'm hungry. Comes in this weird draining feeling.
Well, and I kept saying, well, I'm not hungry. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I'm lethargic. I didn't feel like my stomach was saying, hungry.
Doesn't come from the stomach.
So then I ate, and I just felt refreshed. I felt, I have energy. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm understanding hunger. And then I checked in, and, it was just good. Even whenever I knew that there were times when I was so full that I really wished that I could just...
Yeah, how did you like that feeling?
I liked it a lot.
No, the feeling of the fullness, the 10, the 9. How did you like feeling?
Oh, I didn't like that at all.
Okay.
That's very uncomfortable.
Did you ever question, how did you get there? How did you justify and rationalize? Did you recognize that you had so much logic involved at the time you're eating?
Yeah, and what I realized is that it's a lot easier for me to check in to say, am I hungry, and make a decision whether I'm going to eat or not, than it is to know when to stop.
Yes, that is the hardest. That is very difficult.
I did realize that it's harder for me to know when to end it. I was really enjoying certain things, and I
told you to.
Yeah.
You remember me saying you are not allowed to have guilt or shame?
Right.
How did that feel?
That felt good, and I did exactly what you said. At first I found myself trying to stay away from things. Oh, I shouldn't eat that. That's bad. And then I thought, no, I can have that cookie if that's what I really want, and if I'm hungry. And, so I would think about it that way, the way that you talked to me about. And so I would say, I'm going to go ahead and have at least part of that cookie, whatever it takes to satisfy me.
Did you find that by having that allowance and not having the guilt or shame, that you actually ate less?
I did find that I ate less. I found that I snacked a lot less. Mm-hmm. That was one of the things, because even, there's this guy at work that keeps candy on his desk. Every time you walk by his office, you reach in and you grab some. And I kept going in on almost by autopilot, and I'd go to reach for it, and I'd go, well, am I hungry? Do I want this?
It's not worth it. Good.
And I'd say, I really don't want it. I'm not hungry.
Did you feel deprived?
Sometimes. There was a couple times I did, yeah.
Because you were like, damn, I'm not hungry yet.
Well, yeah, there were some times that I did, but then I also found myself making better choices, because whenever I would be hungry, I'd think, well, do I want to eat a candy bar, or do I want to eat protein? I love protein, so
a meat or a cheese or
a cheese or a hamburger patty or something like that. And so I would ask myself, well, if you eat that candy bar, what's going to happen is you're still going to want the protein. I'm going to get sick, because when I do eat candy or sweets with nothing else, I get sick. And so I was kind of like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I'd make the choice.
And it was an intelligent choice versus an impulsive, well, I'm going to go on a diet tomorrow, so I might as well.
But then I started my gummy bears, whenever I really wanted them, I would say, well.
What was the condition for that one? Have you noticed a repeated reasoning with that?
For eating the gummy bears?
Totally. Like, there's always this condition involved with how you've earned it, or it's your right. There's an entitlement. There's logic involved. Yeah,
and I think that, I'll be honest, that I don't want to give them up. And I found that was driving me to it. Is
like
that,
hoarding.
Yeah.
Like, they're special, they're mine, I'm hiding them, I don't have to share. Does this come from childhood?
I did have 3 sisters.
It totally sounds like childhood. I get that. I'm number 9 of 10.
Yeah.
And we were very poor.
Yeah.
We drank powdered milk. We couldn't afford real milk. My oldest sister says, well, that was for like a week. Well, to a third grader, it feels like 2 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
But that was the condition with those, and I really believe that because it was just I felt like
okay. Well, guess what you
I'm
get
gonna get
to
as
do.
many as I can.
We're gonna close this
Okay.
video, because you really had a great experience. It sounds like you really did in
Okay.
terms of learning about what is it going to take. You now have an awareness of what this is going to take for you to get to the point where those gummy bears don't matter to you.
Right.
You have this bearing. It's like learning your bearings. You know what you're going to need to do at this point. Before, it was completely, there were no bearings. It was, I just have to avoid them altogether. Or, which doesn't really give you any autonomy or independence in the navigation to fix your brain conditioning based on old behavior, new, dieting behavior, hoarding behavior from childhood. There's a lot of different things that have been conditioned that now you're aware of, and now you know your neediness to it.
Yeah.
No one can do that for you. No diet can say, here's your need for those gummy bears, and this is what you're going to need to do to change that need. Have you ever thought of it that way?
I probably thought about it a little bit over the last couple of weeks.
Well, that's what I meant. This is now you're aware.
And what I will say is that what I was aware of is not enjoying them as much.
Yeah, like when
Because it was as if I had to have,
yeah, and you don't even want them, and you're still hoarding them.
Exactly. And
so there's no emotion involved with what you're doing at all.
And what I did like about some of the things this week, and I know we're going to close this up, but a couple of things this week that I noticed is when I was making choices about certain things, I did enjoy the food more because I was tasting it, I was savoring it, I was experiencing it more.
Yeah, we talked about that. When there's no shame or guilt, you don't have to hide the food.
Right.
And when there's shame or guilt with the food you're eating, you tend to
get rid of
eat
it.
really fast. Like you're hiding it, so your food consumption speeds up significantly. Your bites are a lot bigger. You're not even tasting it, because if you taste it or have pleasure with it, there's even more guilt.
Right.
So you end up eating this food without any recognition of that it's even there.
Right.
Can you imagine the detriment to the stomach? Like how much damage goes... It's and if you do it chronically, that damage can be irreversible.
Yeah.
But anyways, not to bring in doom and gloom,
Okay.
but being aware of how did it feel to just enjoy it and not have all that crazy emotion, like to be present with that palate and the narcotic response. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it was. It was a very refreshing feeling.
And when you did that, did you notice that you were okay slowing down, and
Yep.
you were okay having a limit based on that feeling? And it didn't even feel like...
Yeah.
Have you ever watched someone eat who doesn't ever eat the whole thing, and you're like, how the heck are they eating that slow? And they don't even how do they not scarf this down?
Oh, I'm married to
Do
one of
you
those.
see now why?
Yeah.
Because there's no shame or guilt. They don't have a sense of deprivation. They don't feel like they have to diet the next day. They don't have to hoard. They're present, and they're living in a state of abundance versus deprivation.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good experience. It was a good experience.
That is why we do this.
Okay.
Can you remember when I was like, there's a lot you're going to get out of this?
Yep, I do remember that.
You'll get it when you come back in here.
And I did.
Yeah.
I did. I did have to concentrate on it, but I did my homework, and it was good. It was a good experience.
And you learn from not being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. So many people think that I'm looking for perfect hunger rhythms. I just want you to hold yourself accountable and observe when you don't, so that you're aware of what you need to work on. So our goal with this first round for you is that you focus in on those major, like if you could list where you struggle just daily, those are the things that we are looking to decrease, not your weight.
Right.
I don't care about your
I
weight,
understand.
right? Let the body do that. Don't even focus on it. Ignore it. Focus in on, I want you to carry around gummy bears with you during this
Okay.
protocol. Like have a little bit in your purse, have it so that you know that they're there. You're not being deprived.
Right. Okay. And if I want one, I can have one.
Well, the goal is that you allow yourself.
Oh, on the protocol.
Yeah. Have you ever quit smoking?
Yeah, I just quit smoking.
Okay. This is like saying have that pack with you at all times.
And I did that. Actually.
I'm asking you to do the same thing. But here's the great news. There will come a time where you can have those gummy bears again.
Okay.
So you're not quitting gummy bears.
Yeah.
You're quitting the conditioned idea that you're being deprived of them and you need to keep them close by.
Okay.
So you're going to keep them close by, and we're going to allow that conditioned reaction to just eat them for that reason to go away.
Okay.
That's the intention. It's not to make you feel like you can't eat them ever again or have guilt or shame for wanting them. It's to decondition the reason behind why you're eating them. Because the reason, at this point, doesn't make sense.
And
you don't even want them, and you're still eating them.
And that's exactly right. I don't want them, and I'm eating them. It's
Yeah.
like, go get them, go get them.
And you're probably eating them going, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? It's conditioned.
Yeah.
It sounds like conditioning to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like conditioned hoarding.
Yeah.
And you don't even need them at this point. And you're just, it'd be like saying, why am I smoking? I don't even want it. So those are going to be, that's actually a real easy snip.
Okay. Good.
How do you feel about that? Do you see where it's like, I know you need to lose weight.
I think it's
You
exciting.
need to lose about, physically, to be anatomically correct, which I don't even know, but I'm going to make an assumption based on my years of body fat compositions. We need to get you down to about 150 and you're 230.
Yeah.
That's like 80 pounds, okay? It'll happen.
Okay.
But it won't be permanent unless we snip some of these connections to food that you have conditioned with and emotions with
Okay.
that are dysfunctional.
I'm excited.
Me
I am excited.
too. Well, because if you lose those relationships,
Mm-hmm.
you know as well as I do what will be the end result.
Yep.
It's not even, I hope I maintain.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, if I stop this, I won't have an issue.
And I love that. And that's what I love about what we're doing. It is a different approach. It's something different for me. And I love that it's a way of life that is not, it's just my choices.
Yeah,
And that I do love.
It's
Instead of that constant, I can't.
No, well, that what we're talking about is it's personal responsibility.
Right.
This is completely self-navigated.
Okay.
I am coaching you. I am trying to keep you focused on a different end result, completely different end result, because you need a different approach. So I've got to give you a different parameter and a different goal.
Okay.
That doesn't have to do with your weight.
Okay.
That's difficult. I've had people in here who are like 400 pounds I have to convince this to.
No,
And they're actually easier because they have just given up. So they're like, you know what, I have accepted this. It's the people who can't accept it that really have difficulty because they go right back and die. I need to lose more weight. It's like you're totally distracted from what we need to do with the food. Do you see that now?
I do see that. I'm
Good.
surprised at how something like this that I can apply logic to and everything. I'm surprised though at how scary it feels a little bit, like.
Well, because we're not forcing something.
It's like
We're not forcing the body to lose weight because we're compensating for insecurity about the way you look.
Yeah.
It's like this is so different because this is letting the body have more power to do what it needs to do. And we are forcing you to let go of some of these insecurities.
Okay.
It's like tipping it the other way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like the yin and the yang. We're going to the other side. Personal responsibility. That's what this is, and that's what I'm forcing.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
I'm not taking any responsibility. It's not the protocol's responsibility to do this for you.
I understand that.
I know, it's awesome.
Okay.
Thanks
Good.
for sharing.
Thank you.